Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Proline Daily. It's the longest-running sports handicapping show in America. Direct from Las Vegas, Jim Feist is here, and I'm Dave Koken. Jim, you were on the wrong side, I guess. Well, the way they keep score, it's the wrong side with Indiana last night, 89-53 in the NBA. I guess you can afford the loss, but wow, that was weird.
Yeah, we're going to get into a little bit of that when we talk about the game coming up on Monday. But
Right.
when first of all, and I know the seedings in most things don't matter. We saw that in the NCAA tournament. We're seeing it again in the NBA, where the Bulls are an 8 seed. They're beating a 1 seed, which basically means that the seeding means nothing and the regular season means nothing. But 74 points in the first half, and what did they score? 30 in the second half, something like that, for Indianapolis. And LeBron James, I don't know what to say about his performance. He just is absolutely impossible to stop when he gets in that mode. Now, it doesn't happen that often, but when it does, he is just absolutely incredible. And then the fact that Kyrie Irving and Love didn't play 1 minute in the fourth quarter. They were very impressive, but we have to remember, in my opinion, that Indianapolis is a lower seeded team, and they don't have a lot of great talent surrounding Paul George. There's some good talent, but it's not great. And when LeBron gets going, you need some great talent to stop him. They did not have it, and of course they choked. They didn't. Indianapolis choked. They could driving the ball to the basket. They couldn't do that. They couldn't hit a jump shot. It was absolutely incredible to blow a 26-point lead.
A few basketball games over the weekend, and we can start with tonight's action. And Houston is at Oklahoma City. Houston and Oklahoma City, the Thunder are 2-point favorites in the game. That's where it opened. There's been very little movement in this game. I think I can buy Oklahoma City being the favorite in this matchup. They came out of game 2, I'm sure, feeling pretty good about themselves, and I would give Oklahoma City a decent chance to win this game, but not enough to lay money on it.
Well, the problem here is Houston has had their number. The other night, Oklahoma City comes out and opens up a 15-point lead. Westbrook is Westbrook. I mean, he can get all the criticism in the world for being a ball hog and et cetera, and looking at his own stats and egomaniac and all the stuff that you read in the media. Bottom line is he's a great basketball player. And he doesn't have a lot of great talent around him. He's got role players, and role players are necessary. But you do need someone else to pick up the load on the offensive side when he takes a little bit off, takes a couple plays off, or sits on the bench for a while, or heaven forbid gets into foul trouble. So they're not well balanced in that regard. They're not a great team. He's a great player. And the question would be, would he be a great player if he had a team with balance? But that remains to be seen, and that is not my problem. The question here is, can they beat Houston even straight up, forgetting laying in points, because they haven't done very well in that regard. Houston has been able to handle this team very consistently in the last 10 or 11 times they've met. There is another game going Friday night, and I was not going to talk about this, but there's an injury here, and I'm really shocked that not enough people are talking about that. Rajon Rondo broke his thumb, and he's not playing. And this game opened Chicago 1.5. It's now Boston 2.5, and that's totally based on the injury. You have any thoughts on the effect of Rondo not being in the lineup, Dave?
No, I think it's an overreaction. I would not favor Boston at this point. So I think, and I don't think they would have been the favorite had it not been for the injury. So I think it's a bit of an overreaction myself, Jim.
I agree with that. One of the things that I kind of get off script when I do this stuff, but Um, Danny Ainge was criticized heavily for not making a big move at the trade deadline. The other argument was that if he'd have gone after Paul George or Jimmy Butler, which he possibly could have gotten, and we don't really 100% know that, but if he could have gotten them, I'm not sure, and I don't think the management there at Boston thought that would have been enough to overcome the Cavaliers this year and to do some damage in the finals. But so in that regard, they didn't give up the draft choices in the positions that they now hold, and that potentially will make them stronger, a lot stronger going forward with the draft choices. And there's some good players coming out of college this year that they can get. And the other thing is, next year, of course, LeBron will be a little bit older, and maybe you have a chance to get by him.
I'll respectfully disagree. I think if you have a chance to go for it, you go for it. And besides that, the way draft choices work out in the NBA or in any sport, I'll take the proven quantity over an unknown prospect. If they could have gotten the players mentioned were Paul George and I can't remember who the other guy was.
Jimmy Butler.
I would have gotten Jimmy Butler in a heartbeat. Paul George, I don't know. Paul George can be disruptive, and he wants to play in the West Coast, so maybe not George. But Jimmy Butler, yeah, I'd have definitely traded draft choices away for Jimmy Butler, and I would have traded multiple picks for Jimmy Butler. He's one of the 20 best players in the league. So if that was available and they didn't do it, shame on Danny Ainge.
Well, that's going to be an argument going forward, and people will be talking about that until the next time Boston gets themselves in a championship team, which is probably a ways to go down the road. Moving on to playoff games on Saturday. There are 4 games on Saturday. You got Toronto at Milwaukee, Milwaukee has taken a pretty good lead in this series.
I said this. I think I said this right before the series. I think Milwaukee might actually be the better team in this series, and it's kind of playing out that way right now. They've got the best guy on the floor, and you saw it again last night with LeBron. When the best guy on the floor takes over, there's not much the other team can do about it. And the best guy on the floor has a tendency to take over in the playoffs. I think the Bucks going to win this series and upset Toronto. And interesting note there, this would be, I think Toronto will eventually draw most of the money in this game, but the early money, which is generally sharper money, is on Milwaukee.
Yeah, there's a formula in basketball that used to work very, very well. It's called the zigzag theory. It works, but it works more selectively than it did 15 years ago.
If you just play it blind, you lose.
Yeah, you're going to lose at least the juice.
Yeah.
But like last night, it actually worked. It would have worked better, of course, if Indianapolis would have held on to their lead. But it hasn't worked that well in the last 5 or 6 years. But how it works is basically you bet on the team that lost the last game. It's pretty simple. And that kind of, the theory is the team that won is a little bit more satisfied, and the team that lost is a little bit more desperate, because this is an elimination series. When you lose 4 games, you're gone. So every game becomes more important, especially after you lost. Well, the line here in Milwaukee at Chris opened 2.5, and at Pinnacle opened 1.5. Right in there's a story anyway. But the Pinnacle line went from 1.5 to 2, and the Chris line is at 2.5. Now, that's interesting, and it goes right to what you talked about, Dave. They didn't adjust towards Toronto, which is a reverse move against the zigzag. And that's not what bookmakers usually do. They will go along with the zigzag to protect themselves from the money that is going to come in on that losing team from the previous game. So there's a lot of support and strong support for Milwaukee, as you said, being the better team and will continue to win.
And then on Sunday, we'll spend some time with this one because
Yeah.
it's Cleveland and Indiana. Right now, the number in the game is
Three.
3. Nothing has happened with the number yet. I would guess that the public will be all over Cleveland in this game, with the thought being that the Pacers are not going to have anything left after. They're down 3-0, and they probably know their chances are limited at this point. So I would look for some line. If you want to play the line movement game there, if this line doesn't go up between now and game time, that'll tell you that some sharp bettors are taking the underdog in the game, because the only way this line should move based on the percentage of tickets that'll be written would be up. So if it stays the same or moves down, it means there's sharp money on the other side. I think Cleveland could relax here, and maybe Indiana has enough pride to get a win, but I don't think I'm going to bet on it, Jim.
Well, Dave, again, this is one of those situations where yesterday Cleveland was 1.5 or 2.
And the interesting thing on that game was that the public was betting the Pacers, and the sharps were on the Cavaliers. That was a weird game as far as betting patterns go, but we had one of the guys from CGT on the show yesterday, and that's what he was talking about. He says it was kind of unexpected, a surprise that the sharper dollars actually were on, the pro money was on Cleveland last night. They ended up getting paid, so and that's all that matters. The public liked the Pacers. They were very anti-Cleveland off, 2 less than spectacular wins at home, and the fact the team hasn't been good down the stretch. But, well, you saw what happened. The best player in the NBA, and he is the best player in the NBA, took over the game in spectacular form in the second half, and the Pacers had no idea what to do about it.
No, they didn't. I was one of the Joes. I was on the Pacers plus the points last night. Was looking pretty good.
I'll say.
Scoring, 26-point lead, scoring 74 points in the first half. But I'm a guy that sits in front of the screen through all the games, and I have live betting that I take advantage of. I was worried when the halftime line came out at 6. Cleveland was 6 at the half, and they were down 25 points at the half. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, Cleveland's going to cut into that. So I did put some money on Cleveland. Now, not anywhere near what I had on the Pacers for the whole game, and then they come out in the first 5 or 6 minutes and they outscore the Pacers 13-3.
You got to start worrying at that point.
Well, I didn't start worrying. I started betting.
Ah.
And then I switched sides because I could see that this guy that some people hate, and I don't understand why they do, LeBron James is the best player on the planet, on this planet anyway. There might be another planet out there that there's a better player, but I don't know that planet. On this planet, when this man gets going, and he's not against a top flight club, which, I mean, this is Indianapolis. The Pacers are not the Warriors. This is the kind of team that you can stare down. And when LeBron gets going and he gets that mojo going and he has that look, oh man, it's when they go down 13-3, that 25 points down to 15. I'm saying, oh my God, this gets the single digits.
Yeah.
So I'm betting the opposite way now. Now I'm on Cleveland. So for the whole game, that's what I'm doing. Now, the other thing I'd like to talk about with this is I don't understand, and John and I had a conversation about this yesterday. I can't understand why and who believes that Cleveland is an under team. I don't understand it. They don't play defense until they absolutely want to or have to, but they have been flying over the total in all these games. They don't play defense, and you cannot stop their offense. So they're betting every game so far. the public or the pros, whoever it is, and I know you track that pretty consistently, Dave. I don't know if you do on the totals as well, but they bet every game under. Whatever the opening number is, they keep betting an under and under and under and under. Now, and it hasn't even been close. And I've been picking up easy money with that.
Now, that's interesting to note, though. The early money for Sunday is on the over.
Well, they finally woke up.
Well, I mean, that's just off one sharp store. Penny opened under 211.5 with the under slightly juiced, and now the over is juiced now, and that's very early money. But again, very early money is usually pretty sharp money.
I mean, I'm not going to give away the store here, but quite honestly, I don't know where Indianapolis finds any confidence.
No, I don't either.
To come back in this game. And this is one of those reverse zigzag things. Cleveland was only 1.5 and 2 yesterday, and now they're 3.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to go up. I really do. I think there's a real chance this goes to 3.5 or 4.
I don't think Indiana wins a game in this series. I mean, they had their chance. They had their chance in game 1, and they cut an 18-point lead in game 2 down to 4.
But that game they were behind all the way, but they could conceivably be up 2-1 in this series, and instead it's 3-0. It's kind of, we just saw something similar to this in the NHL on the Anaheim-Calgary series, where the Flames. They actually could have been up 3-0 in the series. Instead, they were down 3-0 in the series, and they didn't play very well in Game 4. Let's put it that way. I mean, it was a close game on the scoreboard, but the Ducks were the better team. I would, once you get it in your head that you can't beat a team, you generally won't beat a team. And I suspect Indiana's in that category now.
Yeah, they got to be looking at themselves and saying, hey, guys, they had some problems in the clubhouse before this last game, and it actually worked in their favor the way they played the first half. But that choke job is classic, and I don't see them bouncing back.
Yep, and it was a combination of a choke job and the best player in the world just completely taking a game. I mean, LeBron was he was just even by LeBron standards, he was just amazing last night.
Yeah, I want to, whatever he drinks before a game, I want to figure it out because I want some of that. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Dave, in baseball yesterday, I mean, you and I have both been doing very well in baseball.
Not yesterday.
No, not yesterday. And that's why I want to bring this up. There was a game last night between Paxton and Seattle and Oakland and Vargas, was it?
Valdez.
And you and I both like the under, and I also like Paxton.
And we got good numbers too, because you like getting closing line value, but it doesn't always mean you win. It just means you lose less. We both had under 8 in that game.
Yep.
And it went to 7.5 with the under juice. So in terms of value, we both nailed it. But it sure didn't work. It was 3-3 pretty quickly. Paxton had a bad game, and Oakland ended up scoring a ton of runs. So if you're going to lose, you may as well lose big, and we sure did.
Yeah, I wanted the key on the Valdez. I don't know much about the young man, but I know you
quite a bit about him.
You know quite a bit. And what did you see coming into the game about him, and what did you see after the game?
First of all, he's not a young man. He's 32.
Dave, compared to you and I.
Well, no, I mean,
it's baseball. I understand.
Not exactly a rookie. No, he was in the majors in 2010 for a brief amount of time, and that didn't work out. And eventually ended up in the Mexican League, and he hadn't done much there until 2015 season. Something happened, and he started pitching pretty well. And then the Astros signed him to a minor league deal prior to last year, and he went out and he had an absolutely phenomenal season in AAA. I mean, it was phenomenal. 12-1 with a low ERA, And if you're in the Pacific Coast League and you've got a low ERA, because that is an incredible hitters league, that's impressive. You walk less than one batter every 9 innings. Then the A's signed into a minor league contract this year because the Astros didn't protect him, so I guess he was a free agent. And might have even been a rule. No, it wasn't a Rule 5. He got off to a good start with Nashville. They brought him up. Well, it didn't work out very well. I'm not going to write him off based on one start, but that wasn't very good. And Paxton, who's been absolutely great so far, well, he wasn't great last night.
No, he was 21 innings without an earned run.
Yep.
And then he came in last night and he gave up tons. No, it was one of those things. Well, basically, betting is it's all about risk and reward, and you don't win every bet. But I'll tell you what, when you look at our records, both last year and this year so far, and going back to 20 or 30 years we've been doing this, it's pretty damn good, and our return on investments is strong. And Dave, I know you got some strong things, you got some strong plays, and you also have the free plays on a recorded message.
Yeah, and I got the free play for our show today, which I will go opposite the line movement here. The Miami game, Marlins open 123. It's now down to 109. So it does appear as though the sharper money here is on the Padres, but I will go against the sharp money. I like the Marlins in the game. Padres, their numbers against lefties, jeez, I mean, they're just terrible. It's early season, so it's kind of a small sample, but this team against lefties, let me get the exact numbers because I had them written down here. They're hitting 187 against lefties so far. Obviously, that's not producing a lot of offense. And Miami continues to hit very well against righties. They have a better bullpen. And I'm not a big believer in Trevor Cahill. He really had his stuff working last start for a while. And then he completely, that was against the Braves. He was unhit. I think he had a no-hitter through 5 innings. And I watched the game, and it's like, holy cow. I mean, his command was fantastic. I mean, he just looked like a new pitcher. And then the 6th inning, he went back to being Trevor Cahill. He threw 3 wild pitches in 1 inning. And that was it for him. And then they got the bullpen. I'm just not a believer in Trevor Cahill at all. And I know the Padres have won a couple in a row, but and look, I could be dead wrong, but I think the sharp money's on the wrong side of this game. And at 110 or thereabouts, I would take the Marlins in this game. I think you've got good value at that price now. If you want to get free plays every day on tape, it's not a recorded message, so there's nothing you got to go through to get the game. Just call the number, and you get the game. 888-294-1970.
You could talk about a free play. I pretty much gave it to you already in basketball. If you followed what I said about the Cavaliers, I really don't believe Indiana is going to show up, and the Cavs will close it out. I don't think there's enough. Pacers, they all get paid good money. They all want to win. They all have, but also they know they got to pack their bags, set up their tea times for their vacations, deal with the family, get their plane reservations. They're not going to beat Cleveland 4 in a row. And after blowing it yesterday, I think that's a dead man walking or a dead team walking. Cavaliers in a blowout, 10 or more points. And you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jim Feist Sports. Season, basketball, football, baseball. By the way, the football lines are out.
Yep.
And they are up right now at the Westgate. And I think the first game is a Thursday night game, and the Patriots are 7-50 playing the Chiefs. That's the first game. That's a little teaser for football. That's in September, of course. So we got current things to worry about. So if you'd like to get free plays text to you, just text GAME, GAME, to 25827.
And that'll do it. We'll be back on Monday with another issue of Proline. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. And for Jim Feist, I'm Dave Koken. We'll see you later.